Alright, typically when I make a video for you guys, we're making espresso, but today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be practicing our pour-over coffee. Specifically, I'm going to be using a V60, and this is my little recipe that I have written down in my notebook, so we're going to try and follow this. We're going to start off with grabbing our coffee, so we'll grab a scale, so we can measure and make sure we're getting the right amount. And the coffee I'm going to be using today is an African coffee. Specifically, I believe it's Ethiopian, or maybe Kenyan. It's called Katamikui. It's really, really good. It's a nice light roast. Has tasting notes of black currants and raspberry. It's very juicy and light, which typically is what I like in a pour-over coffee. So we're going to do 18 grams. Yeah, 18 grams. A little over. Alright, close enough. And if you've ever wondered why I have two different coffee grinders, it's because this one is specifically designed, and the burrs inside are designed for a really fine grind for espresso coffee. And this one is a different geometry of burrs, it's a different design, and this is more for pour-over coffee and filter coffee, which is what we're going to be doing today. So you get to see me use this one for the first time. And I need to set it at 10, which I think it's already there. Yeah, we're already at 10. Okay, so we'll get that going. All right. And it has this cool little built-in knocker feature where as you rotate it, it knocks off all of those fines, which is what we want in a coffee. So go ahead and knock that into the catch cup as well. Here's our coffee. Very nice. Next up, we'll grab our water and get that boiling. So I keep my water down here for pour-overs. I just start with distilled water and then I add in magnesium, calcium, and potassium, which works out pretty well. And of course that's a different water recipe from what I use for espresso, which is why I have a different jug for it. So the recipe calls for 300 grams, and I'm going to need a little extra because we rinse the filter, so I'm going to do 320-ish. A little bit over, but that's fine. Okay. And I believe we set that to 98. And we'll let that heat up. Meanwhile, we will go ahead and grab our carafe and our V60. So when I say a V60 pour-over, specifically I mean this plastic part. This is a Hario V60. It's named that because it's at a 60-degree angle. This is one of the more popular, cheap pour-over cones. I like the plastic ones specifically because they don't absorb a whole bunch of heat and they're not as fragile. I do have like glass versions, but I prefer the plastic one. We'll grab our filter. So this one, and we'll grab a stirring stick. And once the water is hot, we'll go ahead and rinse our filter real quick and dump the extra water, and then we can get started on brewing our coffee. Alright, we're good to go. So, zero that out. And since we did pour extra than 300, I have about 20 grams of hot water to pre-rinse my filter with. I don't even normally need that much, but we might as well use it. And then between pours, I put the pitcher back on the base and it keeps it at the proper temperature. And the reason that you pre-rinse it is to get out some of like the paper flavor if there is any extra. We're going to go ahead and dump this in our espresso machine tray. There we go. And now we get to go to the fun part. We're going to add our coffee. So I like to do what is called a Kubomi method. Basically, when you have your bed of coffee, you stir in a divot in the center. Because it's cone-shaped, if you have your coffee bed flat, the hot water won't distribute all the way to the bottom evenly, but if you make a little divot, kind of create this little volcano, then the hot water as you pour it will reach the bottom as well, and it gives you a nice even saturation during what is called the bloom phase, which we're about to do right now. So, I'm going to bloom 36 grams for 15 seconds. I went a little over, but that's fine. The reason that you bloom coffee is because when coffee first gets hot, it releases all the excess CO2 in the grounds, which is why you see all these bubbles. And you want to let that out before you start brewing the rest of your coffee. So we're going to let this sit here for a little bit. And then about now, we're going to go ahead and stir it. And it looks like everything is nice and evenly wet, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and do our next big pour at 144 grams. And you just want to do nice, even circles, evenly distribute the water. And I'm going to stop a little bit early because I did go over on my bloom, so I'm just going to adjust down here a little bit. And that should put us back in line with what we were expecting. And now we just give it time to drain through. So most of the water has drained through. We're ready for our next big pour, which, according to this, is another 120 grams. And because this is our last big pour, while it's still nice and wet, we're going to give it a gentle swirl just to redistribute the coffee bed, make sure it's nice and flat. And we'll let this go ahead and do its final drawdown. Should take about 60 seconds. It might be a little bit fast today, but we'll see how long it takes. And after that, we will be done. Alright, looks like we've stopped dripping, so we're probably about done. So we did finish a little bit early today, but that's alright. So you have a very nice, very light coffee. Almost tea-like. So if you're used to like a full-bodied dark coffee, this is not like that. But it is a beautiful, beautiful light color. Trying to catch the sunlight. There we go. So, a very, very light-bodied coffee. It's going to be delicious. It smells really good. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into another carafe, both because it's easier to serve from this one and because it'll cool down a little bit from the pouring. So the human tongue is better at discerning flavors when it's not hot. We're actually much worse when it is a warm thing. So cooling down the coffee not only helps you to not burn your mouth, but it helps you to taste it a little bit better. And we'll grab a matching cup. And we have our coffee ready. I'm going to let that sit while I clean up. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching a pour over.